What up, Fight World? It's a Kid Ego, man. What's up with everybody? Hey, everybody. Was
stop. Is it crazy?
Yo, what's up? Just waiting for people to join. This is that clip of Paulie talking about Errol Spence. What do I think about Bieber and Floyd situation? And Floyd went mental. I mean, that's some like that's that. I seen it on TMZ, but that's exactly what it is. That's some TMZ. I don't give a shit. I seen Bieber kissing his pastor, hugging up on him. So I don't know. I don't really care, to be honest. Yeah, and then TMZ, they did the story, but they didn't show no proof of it. There's no video of it. There's no tweets or deleted tweets or, you know what I mean, like Instagram posts. So, to me, I don't really care about that shit. But let's get into some questions. Monday Mail Day. We have to do a short, quick sesh, because I didn't put up the question video. I was in Omaha. So I'm just going to answer some questions. We in here. We working. Shout out to Daly City, man. San Bruno, San Francisco, Daly City. Notification gang. We the gang. The gang's all here. What's your take on this Bruce Lee talk from Conor McGregor? I mean, I just think Bruce Lee is just iconic. So he's probably someone that a lot of guys from mixed martial arts idolize. So, you know what I mean? They try to draw from inspiration. I think that's what all people do. You know what I mean? Like, Jean-Claude Van Damme was a Bruce Lee fan. And then there's another dude, the one, he was in that movie, Undisputed. He's in the Expendables, Scott Adkins. He grew up watching Van Damme movies, so he was inspired to join martial arts from him. So, you know what I mean? Everybody's inspired by somebody. So I think Conor doing all this Bruce Lee talk is just him kind of being a fan of Bruce, like me. What round do you think Mayweather gonna knock this weirdo out? 8 or 9. I really think people have, like Devin Alexander, even he's a fighter, but people have unrealistic expectations. You have to understand Floyd is 40. You have to understand he hasn't fought in 2 years. So even though he's Floyd and he did it earlier after he beat Ricky Hatton, knocked him out, he came back and dominated Marquez. He was also more youthful than he is now. So I think, and if you watch Floyd, his first 3 rounds, he might even like give away the first 2 rounds, maybe. You know what I mean? He's just like surveying, seeing what you do, get a sense for your timing, what your power feels like, your speed. You know what I'm saying? It's like light data rounds where he's collecting data. So people, oh, he has to knock him out in 2 rounds, otherwise it's a bust. That's some bullshit, because you know Floyd, like I said, 2-year layoff, Floyd being 40, and if you just watch and study Floyd, watch his fights, you'll know that he picks up in usually the second half of the fight. That's where he starts turning it up. He did it with Canelo. Canelo first 3 rounds were fairly competitive, as competitive as any rounds in the fight. You know what I'm saying? There were no, after round 3, there were really no rounds that I can remember in the Canelo fight with Floyd that was more competitive than the first 3 rounds. So Floyd's going to sleep in 3. I mean, we're gonna find out. Ain't shit to talk about. If I don't believe that. Shout out to Detroit, the D. It's cold in the D. I'm not talking about Floyd versus Crawford. I think they're cool. I just talked to Crawford's trainer, Bomac, and he told me Floyd was one of the people he idolized, like coming up. Roy Jones and Floyd are his favorite fighters, so they're not going to fight. Floyd has already been on record before Crawford became undisputed, and he was saying that this is really his last fight, and he promised Al Heyman, he promised his kids, and all types of shit. So it doesn't even make sense to try to pit Floyd. If anybody, Pacquiao is active. Pacquiao hasn't said when his last fight is. You know what I mean? Freddie Roach has said that he wants this to be Pacquiao's last fight, but we haven't heard it from Pacquiao. Plus, that's a fight that Bob Arum said he wanted to make, and they're on the same side of the fence. You know what I mean? So why don't we talk about that? Let's talk about Crawford versus Pacquiao. Y'all just want to see Terrence Crawford because you know he's a monster and you want to see him up against Floyd. But again, the logistics don't make as much sense as Pacquiao. Let's talk Pacquiao-Crawford. What's next for Bud? 147. Now, who will he get up there? I don't know. I really feel like after this performance over Julius Ndongo, his first fight might be against, you know what I mean, like a Diego Chavez type, somebody with somewhat of a name, but not the names that the boxing fans are dying to see. You know what I mean? Keith Thurman, Errol Spence. I don't think that, even though that's what he wants, I think it's going to be a harder time for Top Rank to get that straight away. Fuck Floyd, he going to sleep. See, y'all all say dumb shit with no explanation. Like, you know what I'm saying? When I really talk fights, no matter who I'm picking, I can break it down. Like, I don't like, if someone says Canelo versus Triple G, I'm not like, fuck Triple G going to bed. Like, that's not my prediction. So to me, that's how I know when you don't know shit about boxing, because all you resort to doing is leaving just bullshit I call them drive-bys, just drive-by comment. Fuck that, Floyd's going to sleep. He beats his wife. Just stupid shit. Talk the fight. Break down strategy. Tell me what Conor, except for them arms shit, tell me what Conor's gonna do to Floyd that he's never seen. You know what I'm saying? To me, this is my honest thoughts. And like I said, if Conor proves me wrong and he upsets Floyd, then it is what it is. I'll make that video. I don't see it happening, so Conor's gonna have to show me that. But I look at Marcos Maidana at the time he fought Floyd. That was like the prime position to give Floyd the toughest fight. And what can Conor McGregor truthfully do better than Maidana did in the first fight? Maidana is also big and rehydrated and outweighed Floyd. Maidana also has crazy good power that you have to respect. You know what I mean? Obviously, I've never been hit by Maidana or Conor, so I don't know who hits harder. Maidana improved his jab with Robert Garcia, right? And Floyd was, Maidana's boxed his whole life with a good resume. He's been in there with Eric Morales, lumped up his eye. He's been in there with Kotelnik, Amir Khan, Devin Alexander. He had just beaten Broner. So, like, I really want to know, like, Floyd even said that Maidana was fighting him MMA-ish style. Maidana turns his punches better. They're more unorthodox than what I've seen with Conor. Conor might be better with some feints or speed, I would say. But speed doesn't really matter if you're awkward. You know what I'm saying? If you're awkward, that kind of negates speed because it's harder to time awkward punches rather than fast punches. So that's just my thoughts, man. I just really, I really can't see Conor McGregor doing better than Maidana. Maidana's an actual boxer. And he's tough as nails. He's never been stopped, just like Conor's never been stopped. Conor's been submitted, but he's never been stopped. So, I mean, what is he going to do beyond that? And he knows his way around the ring because he's boxed his whole life. Boxed Lucas Matisse as an amateur, and I heard they went to war. They fought multiple times in Argentina. So what can Conor do that's really significant? And I told you, like, Maidana's jab was, that's the first thing I noticed that improved from when he got with Robert Garcia, his jab. Shout out to Fremont, my backyard. I didn't know some of y'all so close, but shout out to the whole NorCal Bay Area, the Valley, everybody, Sac. Shout out to Stockton 209. See, and the other thing is, like, I watched Nate Diaz spar in real life, not like on YouTube like some of y'all are, you know what I'm saying? I've been privy and fortunate enough to know fighters, and I've watched them spar. I watched them spar with Troy King, Aaron Coley. I was there live, so I got to see him work, and it was good shit. It was good work. And Nate Diaz, his boxing, which is not I think Nate Diaz could transition into boxing, but I don't think he, as of right now, is exactly where an Errol Spence or a boxer would be, someone who's trained their whole life. But I think he has boxing skills enough to, he can make the switch. But those boxing skills were enough to give Conor McGregor mad problems. You know what I'm saying? So going up against the best boxer, I just see Conor McGregor getting depleted. Floyd's gonna do that little voodoo doll pin cushion to the solar plexus, and it's not gonna feel like shit in rounds 1, 2, 3 where Conor is fresh. But as Conor McGregor starts to get arm weary, starts to get frustrated from missing punches wildly, from not being able to trap and set up traps and corner Floyd, or do a Jose Aldo where he knocks him out in 13 seconds, all that stuff is going to be mental anguish and mentally draining and tiring, and it also causes fatigue within the body. And then I think, like I said, if McGregor doesn't do some Kovalev shit versus Ward in the first fight, where in the first 2-3 rounds he hurt his man, dropped his man, then he's going to be in the world of hurt. If it looks like Ward Kovalev 2, where Floyd is just defensively responsible, picking off his shots, the longer the fight wears on, the worse it's going to get, because at that point he's going to be a fish out of water the more and more the fight goes on. Who can beat Keith Thurman? I would pick Errol Spence to beat him. Still a good fight. I could be wrong, but I would pick Errol Spence. Who wins, prime Nate Campbell versus Crawford? I would pick Crawford, but I fuck with Nate Campbell. Nate Campbell, he got knocked out for putting his hands down and clowning and stuff. I forgot the dude's name off the top of my head, but when he put his hands down, that was foolish. And Crawford, he takes risks. Sometimes he baits with his chin out and stuff like that, but he don't take those type of, I mean, no one's been able to capitalize. So Crawford just, to me, he's an animal. He's smarter, style-wise. Ward said he got the itch to unify. I don't know if the logistics make sense. You know what I mean? Who else has a belt at light heavyweight? Adonis? Ego, stay working, you already know. Ward ducks Stevenson, admitted. Ward destroys Stevenson. Y'all be putting bullshit. I don't got time for the bullshit. Like, this Ward brought up a very good point that I've brought up. The bottom line is this, and no one has an answer for this, I can assure you. How come Ward was at 168? Stevenson was the light heavyweight champion. He knocked out Chad Dawson after Ward knocked him out. Let's not forget. But he knocked him out brutally, quicker than Ward. Chad Dawson became a light heavyweight champion. He bounced back from the Darnell Boone loss and stopped Darnell Boone. Became a light heavyweight champion. So he's been at light heavyweight longer. Yet Ward, who was a division below, fought the #1 light heavyweight, because there's other good names like whoever, Joe Smith Jr., Artur Beterbiev, Marcus Brown, but them guys haven't proven what Kovalev has proven at the time he fought Andre Ward. And guess what? The guy who was at 168 moved up, and he also moved up and fought Kovalev twice, and we still, for whatever reason, and I do believe at different points it was partly Kovalev's fault, and I think it was partly Adonis Stevenson's fault, right? But the point of the matter is, the guy who was in the lighter division has moved up and faced probably 3 fights that I think are better than majority of Stevenson's last 5 fights. Sullivan Barrera, that was a win. At the time where Ward fought him, he was undefeated. He's a puncher, and he's since bounced back. Name someone that Adonis Stevenson has recently faced that you would say is better than Sullivan Barrera. Andres Fanfara? I mean, would you say he's better? Would you say Tom Carpensy, Sakio Bika at the point when Adonis fought him? You know what I mean? Who would you say is better than Sullivan Barrera? And then definitely no one better than Kovalev, because Kovalev was lineal champion, and he was a mean motherfucker, knocking people out, killed someone in the ring. So that's bullshit to say Ward is ducking Stevenson when Stevenson's been in the division longer and has not fought anyone as good as Ward. Has 3 fights at light heavyweight. He has 4 fights total, but he has 3 names and 3 fights and performances that I think are better opponents than anybody Stevenson has fought in the last 5 fights. Fanfara twice. Who else has Stevenson fought? Tom Carpensy, Thomas Top Dog Williams. Do you think Sullivan Barrera is worse than Thomas Top? You know what I mean? Is Thomas Top Dog Williams better than Sullivan Barrera? No. And that's not shade. That's just my honest opinion. Do the Shmoney Dance. Daniel Corona just donated $5 to the movement. What's good, Ego? Best boxing channel on YouTube. Much love, bro. New Mexico, shout out. And just the Ego fun fact, I was born in New Mexico, so shout out to Albuquerque. Shout out to Holloman Air Force Base. Shout out to White Sands, New Mexico, and New Mexico as a whole. New Mex, I see you. Austin Trout, Holly Holm, I see y'all. Shmoney Dance. Dalton Judge just donated $5 also. And his pound for pound list has Andre Ward #1, 2 Terrence Crawford, 3 Rigondeaux, 4 Canelo based on his resume. He says 5 is Keith Thurman, 6 is Triple G, 7 is Errol Spence, 8 is Anthony Joshua, 9 is Deontay Wilder, and 10 is Mikey Garcia. That is a great list. I think that's a very good list. You know what I mean? To me, where you have like just maybe a couple places that are somewhat interchangeable, then that's a good list. Unlike Teddy Atlas's list, you just can't make no sense of that. You know what I'm saying? You can't. If his top 3 and the 2 and number 3 spot are undefeated with more fights. I donated on PayPal. Why don't it show up here? I don't know. PayPal donations are different than super chats. Super chats are exclusive to the live streams. PayPal just shows up in the PayPal account, so they're separate. PayPal donations is its own entity, and super chats go to YouTube. So the super chat money doesn't come until you get paid at the end of the month. Versus PayPal, I have a PayPal debit card, so that's available instantaneously. So they're 2 different programs, if you will. But let's get to some more questions. That was a good list, though. I like that pound for pound list. Very solid. Again, Lomachenko. See, this is why I hate talking to boxing to knuckleheads, because it's like they'll try to make it into something else. Oh, you hate Lomachenko. It has nothing to do with hating it. But if I don't understand something, I have a backbone, so I'm going to speak my opinion. I think Lomachenko's a very good fighter. You could type in the words Boxingego and Vasil Lomachenko, and you can hear anything I've ever said about him on the channel. I'm not ducking or dodging. I don't delete videos. You know what I mean? So you can hear anything I said. I've given him tons of credit, props for performances, post-fight analysis. I told people about Lomachenko before he was the Matrix and high tech, and people even knew about him. You don't know what having a backbone is? I don't know where you're from, but yeah, having a backbone. That means you're like, your feet are planted, like you'll stand your ground. You're not afraid, you don't tuck your tail. But again, a guy with 10 fights, somebody said, name someone who's accomplished what Lomachenko has done in 10 fights. But who cares? What does that mean? 10 fights is still too premature. You know what I mean? That's like me judging Tim Tebow based on what he did in college. I don't give a shit about that when you get into NFL. As far as his NFL career, you know what I mean? What did he do? What did Tim Tebow really do? You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that Lomachenko will be a Tim Tebow in his organization, like Tim Tebow didn't really pan out in the NFL. But what I'm saying is Tim Tebow got a lot of the same hype. He got tons of hype based on really previous accomplishments. But you notice there's only certain names in terms of quarterback that are really standing the test of time. You know what I mean? Peyton Mannings, the Tom Brady's, the Russell Wilsons. You know what I mean? Certain people are standing the test of time when they've been there multiple seasons, got some Super Bowl rings. Tim Tebow was more of a fad. If you judge what he did in college, you'd be like, oh, this dude's unstoppable. And they gave him all this praise, and they're talking about how he goes in shape and he goes to Bible studies. I don't care about all that. Where's his NFL career right now? Peyton Manning's like 40 and got way more seasons, got ring. You know what I'm saying? He's done more. Tom Brady done more. Tim Tebow is like a flash in the pan. So the only way for Lomachenko to prove that he's not a flash in the pan is you have to just keep fighting. Just keep doing what you're doing. If you knock Rigondeaux out and then fight Mikey Garcia and beat him and do what you did to Miguel Mariaga, no one can say shit. Just like Floyd. There's some people that didn't want Floyd to be #1 pound for pound because they don't like Floyd, but they had to recognize greatness after performance after performance, beating De La Hoya, Ricky Hatton, Juan Manuel Marquez, Sugar Shane Mosley, beating all these guys, Victor Ortiz and Canelo. You just gotta bow down at that point. Same thing with like guys like LeBron James. People were giving him a lot of criticism when he got kicked out of the finals versus the Dallas Mavericks. They're like, oh, he don't have no fourth quarter. He sucks. He started meditating, came back next season, and won a ring. And he came back focused. People were clowning him for not having a ring. Now he has some rings. So, you know what I'm saying? If Lomachenko, he can just do the LeBron approach. Shut people up. Fight Rigondeaux, which it looks like it might go down in December, and shut people up and keep doing what you've been doing. Then you're good. The whole issue I have is HBO, ESPN, Teddy Atlas anointing somebody and passing up everybody in the process, people who have probably earned it, you know what I mean, and waited, like Keith Thurman. Some of y'all won't understand what I'm talking about. Keith Thurman was the Errol Spence before Errol Spence, meaning Keith Thurman was the guy who was looking like the beast at welterweight, and he was calling out for the bigger fights, the Floyd fights, Pacquiao or whoever. He was calling for the bigger names, Maidana, and he wasn't getting them. So he had to wait his turn. He had to slowly but surely beat the Luis Calazos and Julio Diaz and people we knew he could beat, Jesus Soto Caras. Then he finally got his opportunity against an equivalent, Sean Porter. Somebody we've seen him fight against Julio Diaz twice. We've seen Sean Porter in there versus Kell Brook. So we knew he comes to fight. So Keith Thurman was able to prove himself there. Then he fought Danny Garcia, so he's able to prove himself. But it was a process. Same thing with Errol Spence. Errol Spence, he was calling out, oh man, I want to fight Pacquiao. He lacked fundamentals, and he was calling out all these people and saying he wanted Thurman. Floyd said make the Thurman fight, etc. Kell Brook was trying to front on Errol Spence like, oh, basically nobody's even knowing his name, and it's hard for me to get up for them fights, and I want to fight Amir Khan and Pacquiao, and it's hard for me to get up for a guy like Errol Spence because no one knows him, got medical extensions, yada, yada, yada. And at the end of the day, Errol Spence got his opportunity. He had to go through the Chris Algieri's, he had to go through the Leonard Bundus, and he had to go through the waiting game of getting a big title shot. Now he has it, and he's a champion. So the same thing with Lomachenko. That's the problem I have, is he has a solid resume, especially for 10 fights, but it's really no mystery when the person has over 400 fights before he even turned pro. Like that, I mean, you're not a guy fresh off the block. I would be more impressed if Lomachenko started boxing late like Sergio Martinez, and within 10 fights he had done this. But I'd expect Rigondeaux and the guys like Luis Ortiz and whoever, Lomachenko, who came into the game, the pro rankings late, I'd expect them to be more advanced than Shakur Stevenson. Not even Shakur, cause maybe even like who? I don't know, Antoine Douglas or something. Of course they're gonna be further along because they have plenty of experience. Same thing with Golovkin. That's why people wanted to see Golovkin step up in competition, because they knew he had 350 plus amateurs or whatever. What else y'all talking about? Edwin Valero. Yes, untimely death, man. The man had power. I heard he fucked Eric Morales up in sparring. And I think he got kicked out of Oscar De La Hoya's camp. He gave De La Hoya a black eye, if I'm not mistaken. Was I impressed with Shakur Stevenson? Yeah, I will, because I was. See, this is one of the reasons I hate talking to a lot of y'all, because I'm a realist, and I like to deal with realistic terms. Okay, Mick Connellan, Shakur Stevenson, even Gervonta Tank Davis before he became a champion, them guys are young. You got to build them up, and even though they have amateur pedigrees, Olympic pedigrees, etc., it doesn't make sense to rush him. We've seen what happened with Lomachenko. Lomachenko would be undefeated if they didn't rush him and fight Salido. If they would have fought Salido maybe right now, or when they fought Nicholas Walters, maybe he would have beat him. Maybe. But they rushed it. So Shakur Stevenson, I was impressed. Now, some people are going to say, some people were hitting me up on Twitter when I was doing the round by rounds from ringside, and they're like, oh, why are you impressed? He's fighting a bum, blah, blah, blah. You don't know shit about boxing. So, like, stop mentioning me on Twitter, because you have to. I'm not saying I want to see a person ride a bike with training wheels forever, but there's a certain bracket of time where training wheels are acceptable. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how you build a fighter properly. That's just what it is. Now, if there's a kid who's 12, 14 years old and they're still riding with training wheels, then that's going to be a problem. You'd be like, okay, you're grown ass, your feet can touch the ground, but you still got training wheels on. That doesn't make sense. But if it's a little kid, 6 to 8 months, I don't know when kids start riding bikes, but you guys get it. They're a year and a half old and you're teaching them how to ride a bike and they have training wheels. It's not that big of a deal. And that's how you build a fighter. You know what I mean? Look at Antoine Douglas. Put him in there with the fucking 40-year-old or whatever age Aventil Curtice is. He look old, you know what I'm saying? And he's in like drug smuggling rings or whatever they talking about, and he got his shit destroyed. Amir Imam, Don King, that was a faulty move. You put him in there with the game Adrian Granados. Here's a fun fact, because I know my boxing. Adrian Granados was not a mandatory for Amir Imam. In fact, Amir Imam was in line for Victor Postal, for a fight with Victor Postal when he was the WBC champion. You get me? So he could have fought Victor Postal, probably got more money, and it would have been a title shot. Win, lose, or draw. It would have been that opportunity. But instead, they, for whatever reason, Don King and team, they chose fucking Adrian Granados, who is no slouch by any means, and they took too tough of a fight and it backfired because Amir Imam ended up getting stopped. So that was stupid. So, you know what I mean? Shakur Stevenson, Mick Conlon, they're supposed to fight guys in this echelon as they're coming up, because you have to deal with different things in the pros. Like, if you don't have headgear or some shit, someone headbutts you all wild, you might get a cut. You got to see how you deal with that stuff. So when you get the title shot, you're ready for it. Do the shmoney dance. We got another $5 donation from Bossman510. It looks like you're from the Bay Area based on the 510. I don't know if that's an area code, but if that is, then shout out to Oakland or wherever you're from. It says, let's keep it 100. Atlas and all these color biased fans treat Lomachenko and talk about him the same way NFL commentators speak about white receivers and safeties. And that's a super chat comment from Bossman510. Yeah, man, I'm not dumb. I see how the game goes. Oh, you're from Hayward? Shout out to Hayward. I was just out there last night. I flew into Oakland. But, I mean, I see how the game goes. It's like, you guys can get mad, but I've seen it time and time again where a Caucasian fighter or athlete or whatever, it seems like the way the media builds them up, they'll have to do less and they'll get way more praise than somebody else who's been gutting away at it, slowly but surely chipping away at it. Case in point, Tommy Morrison. What did Tommy Morrison really do? And they was already casting him in the movie with Rocky. You know what I'm saying? Like, go back and look at his resume. And rest in peace, Tommy Morrison. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to talk down on someone who's deceased, but I'm saying, so it has nothing to do with Tommy Morrison as a person. It has something to do with Tommy, the way the media portrays people. Like, hold on. So, Tommy Morrison, this is his Wikipedia. I'm gonna show y'all so you know what I'm talking about. Okay. Professional career. It says Morrison started boxing November 10th in 1988 with the first round knockout, right? Of William Muhammad, whoever the fuck that is. And it says Stallone arranged a script in 1989. Morrison had 19 wins and no losses, 15 by knockout. So right after that point, Stallone tried to put him in the 1990 movie. So look at Tommy Morrison. Hold on. So his first 19 fights. Tell me a name you recognize. Tell me to stop when you see a name you really know. Name any of who are any of those people. So the KOs and TKOs are great, but he got cast in a movie by fighting, like, who are any of it? Jesse Shelby, Aaron Brown, Steve Zowski, who the fuck? Ricky Nelson, Mike McGrady, Lorenzo Boyd, Alan Jameson. That sounds like some alcohol, some Jameson. Traore Ali, who? Lee Moore. Like, who were any of those? And they put him in a movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, off of that. He was a diesel white boy, in shape looking. He had knockout power. And then look, the year after he got put in a movie, he got knocked out by Merciless Ray Mercer. And then he would later lose to Lennox Lewis, and he lost a fight he wasn't expected to lose against Michael Bent in the first round. He got knocked out. And he had a draw, like I said, Lennox Lewis, stuff like that. The very next year. So that's what I'm talking to you guys about. Like I said, you can dislike, but you can't disprove. Tommy Morrison, he had a killer left hook, but the praise came way before the accomplishment, because if you really look at it, who did he beat? Like, you know what I'm saying? They put him in a movie, but who did he beat at the time? You know what I'm saying? And he would later, every step up, Michael Bent, that wasn't even supposed to be a step up. That was supposed to be a guy he was supposed to beat, and he got knocked out in the first round. Ray Mercer, and don't get me wrong, Ray Mercer went into the MMA or UFC or whatever, and he got a knockout there. So it's not like the guy didn't have no power. But Lennox Lewis, he lost all of his big fights, but the media, Hollywood and shit, they're like, oh shit, a buff ass white dude, Tommy Gunn. Hey, yo, Tommy, you trying to fight? What's the big idea? Trago! You know what I mean? They didn't care, and that's what they're kind of doing with Lomachenko. Now, the difference is, I would say skill set wise, Lomachenko is better than a Tommy Morrison. I don't think Lomachenko is a flash in the pan. Like, I think he's well equipped and well prepared for a 29-year-old or whatever he is. You know what I'm saying? So I think he's just overall a more skilled fighter than Tommy Morrison. Again, rest in peace. I'm just using the example that came off the top of my head. But Hollywood was quick to cast Tommy Morrison, so quick to cast him in the Rocky movie. But there was probably African-American, Mexican fighters who were probably killing for longer periods of time, from, like, let's say 85 to 1990. And they didn't get no opportunity to be in a boxing movie, a classic series. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is this, I keep using this analogy, and I think it's a good one, is it's like a teacher giving a known good student a grade before they even watch, or before they even turn in the paper. And that's what they're doing with Lomachenko. He's good, but to prove his true greatness, like, and to really go beyond good or very good to get to great, you got to do a little bit more. 10 fights, you can't tell shit in 10 fights. You know what I'm saying? Like I told you, I used to be a manager I have lots of experience, but I used to be a manager at Lowe's, and I kid you not, this is a true story. I had this manager in paint, and he was there for 6 months. It was a brand new store, brand new Lowe's store. I was a salary manager, just under the store manager. And this dude, the manager of paint, he was on point, always on time. He was a great worker. He was a department manager for the paint department. He would write people work lists, write the schedule. Like I said, he was on time, punctual. He had a good brain. But guess what the fuck happened? Man, get them likes up. We got to get the likes up, and then I'll tell you what happened to the paint department manager. We got to get them likes up. We have to at least get to 75 to 100, and then I'll finish the rest of the story. Y'all lagging on the likes, man. And then I'll get to it. See, okay, we got to 75. See how it just jump up? That's how I know you guys are just getting lazy. So the paint department manager, like I said, he was outstanding. I was in charge of, like, let's say 5 to 8 departments. I don't remember how many. And he was one of the best department managers. All of a sudden, he started out of nowhere. He started not coming to work. Like, he was missing his shifts. He was scheduled. So we're like, what's going on? What the fuck's going on? Come to find out later down, I don't know if I'm even supposed to tell you all this, but I don't give a fuck. I don't work for Lowe's no more. Fuck Lowe's. But anyway, come to find out, the reason he stopped showing up to work is because he caught a case that he, like, molested his niece or some shit like that. And he was, like, trial, got arrested and shit like that. So that's why he never came back to work. They obviously cut him, and that was that. So that's an extreme example of what I'm trying to say with Lomachenko. Despite him being, I never would have seen that coming. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Based on the whole 6-month tenure, he was like one of the best department managers. I never would have thought that he was like a child molester or some shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's too premature. Now, if you work with a guy for 10 years, then that's a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker was a child molester, B. So that's what I'm saying with Lomachenko with the 10 fights. Like I said, that's a super extreme example, but I would have never seen that coming from knowing the guy for 6 months. He would talk about girls. He wasn't talking about no kids and shit when I talk about him or talk to him. You know what I mean? He was a cool dude. He liked similar music, but I mean, he was doing some old other shit. But that's what happens. You only know someone for 6 months. You just know portions of them. So that's my whole point with the whole Lomachenko. And I'm not obviously y'all trying to blackball me. Hey, Lomachenko, Eagle called you a child molester. Like that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying you have to know people for a length of time to really judge them. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Lomachenko's a bum. I think he's very skilled. I don't know who's saying he's a bum. He's not a bum. He's very skilled. But what I'm saying is you have to be able to observe somebody for a longer period of time before you anoint him that. What if we promoted him and he's a fucking child molester? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if we just jumped the gun and there had been people who worked there longer who have been solid, and we just trumped all them people and gave him a promotion, and he the fucking Chester? Get the fuck out of here. So, you know, truth be told, I don't even give a fuck if people put him in the top 10. I don't even think he's top 5. But if you put him in the top 10, then I have no problem with that. Because that top 10 is a good, you know what I mean, towards the back of the top 10, that's a good place. And then the more you do, you beat Rigondeaux, you beat Mikey Garcia, or, you know what I mean, Robert Easter or some shit, then you start jumping up more and more. But what I noticed with ESPN and HBO and shit like that, these big boxes, they want to expedite that. If you guys ever play Super Mario Brothers 3, the third Mario Brothers, they had these things called these warp whistles, and then Mario would open his chest and and he would just like blow on the whistle, pause, blow on the whistle, and then the warp whistle would take you. You're supposed to be on level 2, and it would take you to level 7 through 13, the end of the fucking game. That's what they're doing with Lomachenko, ESPN. They want to expedite everything in the middle and then just jump him, warp whistle him to the fucking end. It don't work like that. Notice how guys like Nonito Donaire, Donaire was the man. No one knew Rigondeaux would beat him. This was before Rigondeaux. Donaire was the man for 11 years. Notice HBO, ESPN, none of these motherfuckers had Donaire as #1 pound for pound. And he was knocking people. Fernando Montiel he was on the ground like, that's what Montiel did. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Donaire was stretching fools. Jorge Arce, the fucking Jeffrey Matabulo, he broke his jaw. But nobody put Donaire in the top pound for pound #1 spot. You know what I mean? And he went through the divisions. He went through more divisions than Lomachenko has at this point. You know what I'm saying? Fernando Montiel is, I thought he was on a roller coaster or something. You know what I mean? But nobody put Donaire up there. But Donaire was the man. So you could argue, people, if anything, they had him at the back of the pound for pound list. And that's what is supposed to happen. You're at the back, then you fight Rigondeaux, a guy who's 2-time gold medalist. You beat him, now we can start moving you to the top 5 at the time. But that's not what they're trying to do with Lomachenko. They're trying to tell you he's top 5 right now, right fucking now. Like warp whistle, that Mario, That's what it doesn't work like that. Like I said, how the fuck HBO and ESPN have people who aren't even in the top 10, and then all of a sudden they're #1? That doesn't even make sense. How are you not on the pound for pound list at all, and then all of a sudden you in the top 3 spots? You know what I'm saying? You would have to be someone super significant. You know what I mean? You had to be like even Pacquiao. Like if Pacquiao beat Floyd, then he would be #1. But he's been on the pound for pound list before. When Floyd was retired, he was #1. So that's my whole thing with this Lomachenko bullshit. And I'm not going to keep saying it. Lomachenko is a good fighter. If I meet the dude, I'll be like, yo, you got skill. But again, people want to see like the Rigondeaux fight. That's a good fight. Even though Rigondeaux is undersized, based on his skill, it's an interesting matchup. And that's why I hate when people make, see, this I've been in the game for a while, man. This is what people do. Notice when it's just Twitter fingers shit, and Rigondeaux's like, oh, fight me, all this, and making comics and shit. Those same fans will make excuses why Lomachenko shouldn't fight Rigondeaux. Oh, Rigondeaux's boring. He can't sell out his mother's basement in Cuba, and Rigondeaux got dropped, and nobody wants to see Rigondeaux. And then the pressure gets too much, and either the fighter or the promoter say, fuck it, we got to make this fight. And then they make the fight. Those same motherfuckers will now switch they'll flip. I call them shapeshifters, and they'll switch and start praising Lomachenko for taking the Rigondeaux fight. But why were you against the fight happening to begin with? That doesn't even make sense. Why did you not want to see the fight happen if you're gonna later praise that person for taking the fight? Just like they did to Canelo and Lara. A lot of people who don't know boxing, they think the fight happened immediately when Lara started calling him out. No, that was just the tip of the iceberg when Lara got on fucking stage after the Angulo win. And then Canelo was like, enough is enough. This dude's annoying. I gotta fight him. Where's your super chat? I didn't see it. Y'all supposed to tell me if I missed a super chat, because I don't see a super chat. And I'm going back several comments. You guys gotta try to notify me, especially if I'm going on a rant, because I don't even see this super chat anymore. Fuck. What did your super chat say? Yeah, if y'all could help me, because I'm not trying to, the people who are donating to the channel, I definitely want them to get their questions and comments heard. I don't see the super chat anymore. I apologize, but everybody, if you see a super chat, oh, I found it finally. Do the Shmuddy dance. It's Deepak Sharma. He just donated $5. And please, if you guys see a super chat, it's a colored box. I sound all racist. It's a get off my lawn. It's a colored box. But it's a different colored box. And those are super chats. Those are channel donations. So if you see one pop up, please, especially if I'm going on about whatever, let me know so I can give the people the proper attention that are paying. You know what I mean? Deepak Sharma says, yo, Ego, do you think they should do a Super 6 at welterweight? Thurman 1, Spence 2, Danny 3, Keith Thurman, Brooke, Horn, and Mikey Garcia? Now, for me, I'm never going to be against a tournament style. I grew up on tournaments. Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat. Excellent tournaments. Bloodsport, the Kumite. So, I love tournaments. You know what I mean? The logistics, I don't know if they always make sense, though. Because Pacquiao, Horn, they're on the top rank side. So, they should be in the tournament because they're good fighters. But would Top Rank put them in the tournament with all these PPC people? You know what I'm saying? So there's some issues there. But if they can make it logistically make sense like the Super 6, yeah. Yeah, make that. And the welterweight's the most stacked division still. How you feel about Andre Ward signing with Top Rank? That's his business. I mean, if he wants to. Andre Ward, he's decorated and proven. So he's probably at a point like Cotto where the things he does has to make financial sense as well as business sense. He's already an OG in the game, a veteran in the game. He's already proven. So, you know what I mean? That, like I said, if he signs the Top Rank, that's his business. If he feels that he wants to be over there with his fighter, Shakur Stevenson, and it makes more sense than Rock Nation, whatever they can offer, Top Rank's a hell of a promoter. Every Top Rank card that I've covered has been A1 in terms of the professionalism. And I'm not even going to throw anybody else's name out there because I don't have to be sloppy like that. But I'll say Top Rank events are very well orchestrated. And, you know what I mean? I don't always agree with everything Bob Arum says. Put it this way, I don't agree with everything anybody says except for myself. But I will give Top Rank its credit. It's very professional in terms of them getting the quotes, pre-fight and post-fight quotes out to the writers. The photography, shout out to my dude Mikey Williams, does phenomenal work with the photography. And overall the infrastructure. You go to a Top Rank event, it actually starts on time. Like I've been to, like I said, I'll say one of them. I went to one Broner fight, one particular one, and it was fucking chaotic in there. Like in terms of like I'm trying to film the weigh-in and people were walking in front of the camera, and it was annoying because they weren't media people. It was just like fans and stuff, and there was no regulation. Now it's not always like that, but I will say Top Rank is their events are very good, like top notch in terms of they have food for you and shit like that. Very accommodating bout sheets and shit. But that's just a little small something. Let's get to some more questions, y'all. What do you think of Vodstick? I'm gonna tell you this. I have multiple feelings about Vodstick because he's a cool dude. I seen him in Denver way back when. You guys got to go do your research. But I covered a top ranked card. It was Brandon Rios versus Mike Alvarado 3, and he was on that card. Go find out whoever he fought. It was in January of whatever year they fought, and whoever he fought in that January. This is like 2014 or some shit. But whoever he fought that year, he didn't look that great in that fight. So I was like, this is the dude they've been, the nail and all this shit. This is who they've been raving about. But since that time, he's improved or looked better. You know what I mean? He's getting some good stoppages. Most impressive was probably Unisquif Gonzalez. That was a good win because I thought he beat Jean Pascal. So to see Vodstick go in there and annihilate him and nail him, that was a good win. Against Craig Baker, he looked good. I was just at that fight. And that was this weekend on the Crawford and Dongo. So yeah, he's good. I don't know. He says he wants to fight Andre Ward. I don't know if I believe he can beat Ward. You know what I'm saying? He looks like he has some good power, but Ward's a different animal because, I mean, Craig Baker, he was very slow to me. Very slow. And that's what kind of messed him up. But he wasn't doing terrible in the first 4 rounds. You know what I'm saying? Chilemba was solid too, but I never rated Chilemba like no fucking world beater anyway. That's just my thoughts. But yeah, just Craig Baker, he wasn't doing bad at first, you know what I mean? And he just was super slow and stuff like that. Ward is very seasoned. He just went in there with definitely one of the division's biggest punchers twice. And what round did the second one end? 7th or something? So he went 19 rounds with Kovalev, or whatever round it ended. So you roughly 18, 19 rounds. You feel me? So, yeah, I just don't think Vodstick was ready. And I seen another. I think he might have been on Crawford versus Postal undercard, and he got knocked down in that fight by, I don't even know who the fuck he was fighting, but it wasn't no Ward, and he got knocked down in that fight, even though he was able to win. I forgot what fight it was. So yeah, I don't think he's ready for Ward, but I mean, he could make some good fights. Sullivan Barrera, Artur Beterbiev, Joe Smith Jr., Marcus Brown, those are all great fights. One thing I did like about Vodstick, I know they're all friends, but they're in different sizes. Lomachenko, Alexander Usyk, and Vodstick, they all have similarities. I know they're all from the Ukraine, they're all friends and stuff, but I see subtle similarities with pivoting and angles, and he used his feet a lot better versus Craig Baker than I can recall him using. You know what I'm saying? So I was impressed that he was able to use his feet and kind of fight off the back foot and counter and open up more while doing that. So Douglas Chavez, can Crawford hang with top welterweights? Absolutely. I mean, you seen what he did with Ndongo. To me, Ndongo didn't look like a 140-pounder. I don't know what the fuck he rehydrates to, but his frame, he could easily compete at welterweight, easily. So, I mean, and Ndongo's swinging wild, which, if you know boxing or you are a fighter, you'll know what I'm talking about. Them wild motherfuckers are the kind of the worst. Like, if someone's just textbook, bow, bow, uppercut, you know what I'm saying? That, you can see it coming. But when people are just throwing it for the fences, that's kind of the hardest shit to... That's why Broner struggles with that style, like Maidana. Because he's awkward, and he's chopping, and he hits you hard, and he's, like, hitting you on top of the head and weird shit, you know what I'm saying? That's the hardest shit to calm down. And Julius Ndongo, people keep saying it was sloppy, but that shows me that Crawford is very aware of his surroundings, because like I said, Julius was trying, when he seen how good Crawford, and probably felt his power, when he seen what Crawford was bringing to the table, he started kind of going for broke a little bit and throwing wild. It doesn't depend. If you know boxing, I mean, it's not even just me. Andre Ward told me the same thing. Troy King told me the same thing. Actual fighters tell me the same thing. So it doesn't depend. If you're a wild fighter, yes, there's more opportunities to counter, but it is the hardest thing to tame. How is it harder to tame someone who's wild and unorthodox? Look at Floyd Mayweather versus Emmanuel Augustus. You can't win this, because I could think of too many examples. Floyd versus Emmanuel Augustus, one of his toughest fights. He says it was his toughest fight. Reason being is Manuel Gustis doesn't give a fuck in there. He's drunk, a monkey, dancing and shit. Yeah. The white around your lips. Emmanuel Gustis was a fool in there. And Dongo didn't fight like Shane Mosley. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't see that at all. Ego doesn't watch MMA. That's false. I do watch MMA. Indongo was hella stiff. I mean, it depends who you're in there with. If anything, yeah, people are gonna be stiffer when they're in there with Terrence Crawford and he's just there in there working the whole time. You know what I'm saying? So of course you might be a little bit stiffer because he's making you tense. That's credit to Crawford because he didn't look no fucking stiff when he was in there with Ricky Burns, and when Troyanovsky was, he didn't look stiff in them fights. So if anything, he was stiff because of Crawford was making him tense. Floyd be doing that too, making fighters tense up and shit. Watch Shane Mosley after he hurt Floyd in them later rounds when Floyd was just picking him off with that right hand. Shane Mosley kept shaking his head like, fuck, like I'm getting hit with too much. And he looked stiff and tense in there too. That's what happens when you're getting clubbed. But man, make sure y'all get the likes up. Hit the like button if you're enjoying the live chat. This is an impromptu Monday mail day since I didn't put the question video up. We got to get to like 150. The more likes, the more frequently I can do this stuff, because if not, then this takes away from the money from doing actual regular videos or just running errands. I bought some salmon too. I'm about to cook some salmon tonight. I got to start getting back my eating, especially after being in Omaha like 5 days in Lincoln where I can't cook, you know what I'm saying? Or I chose not to because I was on the go. Actually, one of the cribs had, the hotel had a stove, but I was just on the move too much. Yeah, we got to get to that 150. Shit, preferably 200. Hit that like button. What boxing legend could beat Mayweather? The person that really stands out to me through history would be Tommy Hearns. Tommy Hearns is just too fucking big. I think him, that with his boxing ability, Kronk Gym, shout out to the Detroit Kronk Gym. Rest in peace to Emmanuel Stewart. His height and its power, like, that would be a problem for Floyd. Now, I don't know, maybe Floyd can prove me wrong if they were to have fought, but I think that would be extremely difficult. A lot of people say, oh, Roberto Duran and Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. I think Floyd has fought that style and fought it to perfection. I think Tommy the Hitman Hearns would give him serious problems. More so than Paul Williams. Some people thought Paul Williams, but Tommy Hearns had more power, and he's like 6'1" or whatever. Do you think Conor's going to go the distance? Nah, I really see it being a late TKO. You know what I mean? Not necessarily Conor leaving his feet, but just being so exasperated from being worked, not being able to hit, frustrated, to the ref might be like, nah, I don't know about this. You know what I'm saying? Duran claims he would have broke Floyd's ribs, LOL. I mean, but see, that's boxing for you. Anyone could say, looking at someone, people say they're going to break Pacquiao's face and all this shit, and they get in there and motherfucker be like, do, 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 and then they don't do what they said they were going to do. Robert Guerrero was confident that Floyd was getting old and Father Time and all this shit, and Father Time was in the crowd eating popcorn watching Floyd school Guerrero. So, you know what I mean? People could say whatever. Duran said he knocked out a horse. I don't know if I believe that either. A fucking horse? Like, why? Who has beef with a horse? Just like, hey, I heard you was talking shit, fam. Just like, shut up. And just knocked out a fucking horse? Come on, man. I don't know. I get the hands of stone, and I understand people have like ungodly power, but you knocked out a fucking horse? What if his horse buddies try to gang up and fucking mule kick your ass? Fucking Clydesdale Crips. Fucking Clydesdale Crips. What else y'all talking about? Motherfucker said he knocked. Go Google it. That motherfucker said he knocked out a horse. Like, what the fuck? I have to see that. See, and this was before social media, so motherfuckers could say anything. You can't say you would knock out a horse now and be like, show the tape. Let me see. You should have put on your Snapchat story or something if you knocked out a fucking horse. Let me watch that. And then I'm going to call PETA on your ass for fucking knocking out a horse. The fuck? Yeah, I'm going to snitch. I'm going to start snitching, call PETA, and get a fucking reward. Like, yeah, they knocking out horses and shit. Give me my money. Who can't ego impersonate? See, here's an ego fun fact. I used to do acting. So, you master little things here and there. Mikey Garcia or Bud? Very good question. I'm picking Bud. I told you I'm not picking against. I think the most challenging fight that I could foresee for Terrence Bud Crawford right now is Errol Spence Jr. Like, that's reasonable. I'm not going to go, oh, Deontay Wilder. I'm talking about reasonable fights that literally could get made. I'm not picking against him. I'm not. I've seen, again, if you're a real boxing fan, I don't know everybody's money in situations. Maybe you guys need to get YouTubes and start super chatting it and whatever. But if you have the money, go check a live fight. You know what I'm saying? Find out a good one that you've really been wanting to see. Even if you have to fly to it, like, you know what I mean, save up your ducats or get a job or whatever. Pimp a girl, whatever you got. Nah, y'all be like, oh, Ego told me to pimp and pander. Try to have me in trouble. But go see it, because like I said, luckily I've been blessed to do something I love. You know what I mean? Cover fights, so I don't have to pay for that aspect. I still got to pay for like hotels and flights and shit and room and boarding, lodging, food and all that. But I've seen Crawford enough times live. I was there for the Postal fight, Ray Beltran and John Molina, and then now Julius Indongo. All completely different styles. Two of those motherfuckers was super tall. Julius Indongo and Victor Postal. And John Molina is like a slugger. Ray Beltran's like a gamey veteran who has since knocked out people brutally. Up until his last fight on the Lomachenko-Mariaga undercard, he had knocked out the two dudes, like flatlined them, knocked them out cold. Maricela Cornejo is fine as fuck, whoever put that. I agree. Shout out to the women boxers. But yeah, I've seen Crawford enough. So, I mean, I've seen Mikey Garcia. I was there for Dejan's Latishinin, brutal knockout. I was there for Mikey Garcia versus Adrian Broner. So I've seen Mikey Garcia's last two fights live also. And Alvarado KO, I was there. Yeah, that was fucking nuts. I don't know who he fought, but, I mean, that's who Mike Alvarado, he's trying to climb his way back up. That was a nasty knockout. It's on my Instagram, @Boxingego. Just scroll down, because I post all the time. But you guys can watch the Mike Alvarado knockout. One-punch knockout. Crazy. But yeah, I've seen Crawford enough times that I'm not picking against him. And I fuck with Mikey. I told people about Mikey before Broner, you know what I'm saying, before all this, when he was in the 120s. I interviewed Mikey Garcia when he was in the 126 or wherever he was fighting, when he had just become a champion. So I really like Mikey, but Crawford beat him in the amateurs, and I know somebody. I don't know if they would be willing to come on the channel and tell me, repeat what they said, because, you know what I mean, people, fighters, it's a fighter, and the fighter was there when they fought in the amateurs, and he told me what it was way back then. Now, not to say Mikey Garcia hasn't improved, but same goes with Terrence Crawford. It's not like only Mikey Garcia improved and Terrence Crawford hasn't. You feel me? So from what I've heard, what happened in the amateurs, actually, never mind, I take that back. It was Mikey Garcia versus Danny Garcia that I heard about. But he did fight Mikey Garcia too. But somebody was telling me, I got the Garcias confused. It was the Danny Garcia fight. They told me how that played out. Not Mikey Garcia. But anyway, he beat Mikey too in the AMs. So, yeah, I would rock with Crawford. That's my honest opinion. But shit, Mikey's game. Let's see. Let's see what he does. See if he takes the fight. Oh, actually, I heard Terrence Crawford say Mikey got to beat someone first or something. But this is my thoughts. Yo, Ego, what do you think of Conor's sparring partners? Do you think his team actually serious with the level of sparring they have getting ready for Floyd? I don't even know who they are, other than just Deshaun Johnson and a couple other names that I read, but I don't know who they are like that. You know what I mean? I would have tried to get Errol Spence or somebody, even though he's a southpaw, but I would try to get somebody who's like with the shit. You know what I mean? Terrence Crawford or somebody. See if he was down to do it before all the Paulie Malignaggi pictures came out. Due to Shmuddy Dance, we got a $5 super chat from Halim Future. Thank you to the super chat. It says Pernell Whitaker versus Floyd Mayweather. I'm picking Floyd. Prime versus Prime. I don't know the weight, but what is your intake if they have fought? I'll go Floyd. Both defensive wizards, both guys who can counterpunch, both guys who are showmen. I think Floyd picked from a lot of fighters, like picked little stuff that he liked, and I can tell that Pernell Whitaker is one of the people that he drew inspiration from, and they've sparred in the past when he was Pretty Boy Floyd. Pernell, I don't know how the sparring sessions went, but they used to spar. I would pick Floyd. I think Floyd was at the lighter weights and shit. He had more ruthless power. His speed was like super. Like right now, Floyd tells you what it is. He even says he's like, I'm older. I can't do the things I did when 10 years ago, even 5 years ago. You know what I mean? So at that point, he was even sharper. Like if you watch the Marquez fight, super crisp. Defense was too tight. You know what I mean? But even when he fought Maidana, his lip was all big. You know what I'm saying? So reflexes and stuff slowed down a touch, and he had more power than Pernell. So that's why I would pick him. I don't see anybody beating Spence. You could be right. Terrence Crawford, if anyone could beat him, that's who I would say. And that's crazy because that's a dude from 140. But I don't see Keith Thurman beating him. Danny Garcia. Sean Porter. Sean Porter can give him a tough fight, but I think Sean Porter, the way he comes in, Spence would be trying to pick that off. Brooke was winning on the scorecards. Yeah, but so was Victor Ortiz when he fought Josito and his jaw got broken. So that scorecard shit, that's just something they tell you, but that doesn't really matter if you get stopped or, you know what I mean? Because I said this too, Terrence Crawford was losing to Thomas Delorme for whatever reason. His first fight at 140, but he ended up stopping Delorme, so it doesn't matter what was happening on the scorecards. Especially some of these judges, their scorecard be some bullshit. Alright, I've been on for an hour and we still haven't got to 150 likes. I'm going to take a few more questions and then I'm going to finish up my day. Spence Jr. versus Andrade. I don't know. That's two Olympians. I don't know what Spence would look like at 54 if his power would be exactly the same. I can't really call that one. That's an excellent fight. But Spence, if his aggression and power and speed and everything he has at 47 shows up, then that could be a very interesting fight. But Andrade is extremely tall. They were both very close at the Broner Garcia fight in the backstage in the hallway, but Andrade's clearly taller, you know what I mean, than Spence Jr. But I'd have to see. I don't like doing that. Like Jermall Charlo, I had to see something from him at 160 to at least a fight or two for me to know what type of threat level, because some guys move up. Like Broner, he moved up and his power doesn't look exactly the same. It's like respectable, but it doesn't look like 30, 35 power Broner at 140 and 147. Power and speed. Do you believe that Canelo Alvarez and Triple G will avoid Charlo? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Charlo's the type of person where, you know, I mean, the boxing hardcores know who he is, but he's not as big as they are, Canelo and Triple G. You know what I mean? In terms of overall superstardom. And he hasn't been promoted like Triple G has been promoted on HBO and stuff like that. He's very tall. Like Canelo and Triple G, no matter what the outcome, they're making probably career high paydays or close to it. I don't know how much Canelo's getting, but he got a lot for the Floyd Mayweather fight. He got $5 million plus some back end money. But with Charlo, you're not going to necessarily get a career high payday, but the risk is all going to be there. Canelo's not accepting the WBC belt, so we kind of know how this story is going to turn out. If Golovkin wins, maybe he'll face him as a mandatory, but I think Dante's Boxing Nation had an interview with Abel Sanchez, and I think Abel, I didn't hear, I just seen it on my headline, or somebody told me about it, and it was like, basically it sounded like Abel Sanchez was fronting Charlo off, like, why should we fight him, and who is Charlo, or some bullshit about will only fight if it's mandated. Like, so I mean, that's your answer right there. Because why would you say that? Who is he? I know who he is. Most of you, somebody just asked me the question. I've heard that question several times actually about who would win Canelo Charlo and Canelo Golovkin. But Abel Sanchez is talking about, like, why should we fight him? Shmoney Dance, $2 super chat. Thank you. MVP Carlos. It says, where does Triple G go after beating Canelo Ego? Well, we got to wait and see because he has to first beat him. I'm picking Canelo. But where does he go? I mean, Charlo. That's a mandatory. That's a great fight. I don't really want to see the David Lemieux fight based on the poor performance in the first fight. I would rather see a fresh match. Daniel Jacobs rematch would be good. Billy Joe Saunders, Willie Monroe, preferably if Billy Joe Saunders beats Willie Monroe. And the reason I say that is because Triple G's already fought Willie Monroe. I'm picking Canelo over Triple G. But, I mean, we got to wait and see because these are all predictions and speculations on what will happen. But we got to see. A lot of people picking Canelo now. Man, I told y'all. Canelo, I don't want to give too much away in case I do a 7 reasons on this. But Canelo is competitive as fuck. Terrence Crawford is competitive as fuck. Floyd Mayweather is competitive. I can see it. I can see it in their facial expressions. Like, go back. I did a video about it, but go back and do your research. After Canelo lost to Floyd Mayweather, he got fat as fuck after that fight, before the Angulo fight. The motherfucker was probably eating bonbons. I was born right. He was probably depressed. But you know what? I like that. I like that from a competitor standpoint. Because if you worked your whole life and you have been calling out Floyd for a year, 2 years, or whatever before you got the fight, the moment comes, you told all your people you were going to knock him out or beat him, and you come up short, you should be bothered. You should have your feelings hurt. You know what I'm saying? So that's the mark of a true competitor. Like somebody, if you, like, even if you cry or whatever, I mean, it is what it is. People handle things different. And to me, I prefer that. Like Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., that motherfucker was having the fucking party in his telly after Canelo beat him. Like, that's not what I want to see. Fantastico! Like, he had bitches in the hotel room and shit. Like Captain Dick coming, Free Willy, Captain Dick coming. Like, you ain't even tripping that Canelo just whooped you. Then they stole his shit, his Rolly, his Hublot watch and shit. Like, I don't like to see that. Like you were, that makes me feel like you showed up for a paycheck and you didn't even give a fuck. If you in the telly, I'm not tripping. Go watch the video with Canelo. He was fantastico. Captain Dick coming, Free Willy. Let me see you twerk. You go ahead and start it, whistle how you twerk something. Boom, doom, 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 doom. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, you talk all that shit about Canelo, saying he was spoon-fed and he was a little boy and cinnamon and you're gonna knock him out, fantastico, and then you lose every single round. I didn't give Chavez 1 round. You put your father's surname on the flyer, don't do shit, and then you in the telly with whores. Your wife ain't even there. Like, what the fuck is that about? You know what I'm saying? Your wife, your baby mama ain't even in the equation, and you with some thoughts. Like, I'm not trying to see that. Like, why? I don't know. You gotta watch. See, celebrities gotta watch who they have around them, because my boys wouldn't play me like that. Be filming this shit, because even if that's how you get your mind in a better position or whatever, no one would have known had they been there. You know what I'm saying? But his fucking boys filming this shit, pulling the girls' pants down and shit. That's dumb. Like I said, I respect Canelo as a competitor, because when he lost to Floyd, I didn't see no videos of him. Captain coming, Free Willy. Like, he wasn't partying, to my knowledge. And if he did, he kept that shit on the low. You know what I mean? And he looked bothered. He looked like he was finna cry. He had bangs and shit. He had them like, Canelo was tripping when he had bangs. His new haircuts be cool, but when he had them Leonardo DiCaprios, and yeah, he was tripping. But yeah, he had a little bit of a black eye, bangs, and he was like finna cry when Floyd beat him. Oh, he gonna cry in the car. But I want to see that. That's what I like to see. Good sportsmanship. You know what I mean? People, you train your whole life for something. Like when Shakur Stevenson cried at the Olympics. Some people was making fun of him, but I respect that. I respect that. You train, you put that much of your life. Your friends are at parties and eating pizza, and you can't partake in that because you want a gold medal. You want the gold medal that bad, and then you lose to a guy you probably feel you could have beat, and you didn't have the best performance, and Shakur Stevenson cried. I respect that. Seriously though, ego, Triple G by knockout. Listen to me. Like, I've been doing this long enough. If Triple G wins, then I will get on here and be like, congratulations, Triple G, you did it. Point blank, period. But there ain't shit else to talk about. This is my opinion on what will happen. Now, if you follow the channel, I told you I was picking Triple G for the longest time. How do we only go up 8 likes and I've been talking for like 10 more minutes? Y'all gotta hit that like button, man. I keep looking, like, because they tell you in the corner, I was supposed to get off, and I've been on talking at least 10 more minutes, and it went up 8 likes. But hit that like button. Anyway, like I said, I'm a fan of boxing, so it is what it is. If Triple G wins, then he wins. That's not my opinion. If Conor McGregor wins, then he wins. If he beats him, if he knocks Floyd out, all the shit you guys say he's gonna do, then that's what it is. People, I could tell some of y'all couldn't do this. Y'all could, what did Mike Tyson say? You're not man enough to fuck with me. You couldn't exist in my world. Like, some of y'all couldn't do this YouTube shit at this level. You know what I mean? Because you're too emotional. You know what I mean? Like, like I said, oh, you're gonna close your channel down if Floyd loses. Why the fuck would I close my channel? Like, Floyd losing is not synonymous with me losing, motherfucker. Google just sent me a notification. They just sent my paycheck. Because Floyd loses, that don't mean I lose. What the fuck y'all talking about? You know what I'm saying? Just like when Floyd gets a $100 million paycheck, that don't mean I'm getting a $100 million paycheck. You know what I mean? If Crawford loses, if Errol Spence loses, if fucking Ndongo loses, Canelo, what? Okay, they lost. It's the fight game. Some of y'all too fucking emotional. They said that to me after the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight. After Mayweather-Pacquiao, they said, oh, after this, you gonna close your account. My account's still here. But anyway, it's been real. Thank you for tuning in. Impromptu Monday Mail Day. Try to get to some good questions. Hey. Y'all want me to go to Mayweather McGregor? Or nah? Y'all want me to go? Cover this motherfucker? What y'all think? Should I go see Floyd's last fight? Y'all don't want that coverage, that real work, that easy work. What y'all mean I gotta go? That shit gonna be, Vegas gonna be fucking expensive. Y'all want that May McGregor? Y'all let me know. Let me know in the comment section if y'all want that Mayweather McGregor work. You know we be working out here, man. Yes, my real name is Eric. Fuck y'all. Y'all really want me to go or what? Someone said live stream it. Y'all better pay. I'm not getting kicked out. We working or what? Y'all want that Mayweather McGregor? I'm telling y'all, y'all gotta work hard. If you got a vision, believe in it. That's just what it is. Believe in your vision. Like, This is all off YouTube. I didn't even know this shit was possible. All off YouTube, man. I told y'all we working. Y'all motherfuckers thought it was a game. It ain't no game. Just that hard work. That hard work, dedication. Y'all want me to go? The East Coast ain't got love for Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg? Should I go or should I go to Canelo or Golovkin? Which one y'all want to see me cover? We West Coasting. See, my admin's holding it down. They giving you the rule set. Y'all let me know if y'all want me to go. Holla at the kid. Call me when it's gangsta. Hit that like button if y'all want me to go. See, y'all fake. Some of y'all be like, go, go. You want me to spend my money on this shit? Go, go, go. But y'all was telling me it was a bullshit fight. Y'all want me to spend some money on some bullshit? Y'all shady. Call me Ego. Oh, yeah. Unless you know me, just call me Ego like everybody else. Pay for you. Shit. See, someone said, y'all let me know in the comment section if y'all want me to go, man. Holla at the kid. It's Ego. I am not going to no Kodo cover guy. I'll stay my ass at home. I ain't going to no fucking. If I'm going to something, I'll go to that over Kodo Kama guy. The fuck? Should I go see TBE's last fight? Y'all let me know. Holla. Once in a lifetime, why wouldn't you go? Because there ain't nothing that's once in a lifetime. I can go to anything. There gonna be others. Holla. I'm not going to Kodo Kama guy. Please believe that. If anything, I will just stay home. Bay Area, West Coast. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the super chats. It's been real. Cover all the fights? Shit. That gets costly. Come see me fight when you make it, for sure. Anyway, man, you see the California Bear, the California Kid. Rigondeaux Vasil? Yeah, that's a good one. I would definitely try to go to that, too. Make that money. All right, y'all. Just make sure y'all support and hit them like buttons when the video, because this shit is not free. And this shit, I just got back from a trip. You know what I'm saying? I damn near don't want to go just because of that. Like, I can't even sleep in my own bed at this time. I'm not trying to complain. It is what it is. Holla, though. If you got a dream, believe in that dream, man. I got to see history. All right, y'all. If y'all want me to go, let me know in the comment section. Peace out, y'all.